in South Africa. No white has taken African names. None. See? All Indians who are background here, who have been immigrant also for a long time. Also, there are many Indian community here. No one has African names. They have been living this African land for a long time. They came with their name up to now. Only as Africans who took other identity.
Welcome to the Rubasha Family Podcast. We're here for another special episode, another father and son special. Dad is in South Africa. You guys are having a special series as he's on his travels, on his motivational speaking tour. And I am here in Sydney, Australia. Now, actually, I'll start it off with a story. I went yesterday to an event and it was in a church and it was really, really fascinating. So Scottish church, you would say. I can't remember the denomination. They've split up with Presbyterian and, that's a whole different ball game. And so one of the pastors will say, what does your name mean? And he looked and his name was Michael. So he said, Michael, my name means man of God. He knew what his name meant. Michael, these everyday names like Michael thing, I didn't know even people know what they mean, but every name has meaning. So he said, my name means man of God. And then he asked, what does your name mean? I said, someone who's wise, someone who cares about legacy. He looked at me and said, so when he did his speech, he talked about, he said, I was talking to Sujira and the power of names. And then I had speaking to another older white lady, right, Scottish, and her name was Gail. I said, what does your name mean? She told me what her name, and it means father's joy. And she knew, and I said to her, what made you Google your name? Like, why did you know what your name meant? She said, yes, I Googled it because I always saw people with different cultures. Everyone always had a name and all those names have meaning. So I wanted to see what my name Gail meant, and it meant your father's joy. And when I think about it, I was my father's joy. So it's really that the impact, of names and how it's so valuable to know who you are. Those Scottish, for example, they're very, very proud. The Scottish, wow, proud. They have those names, Ian, John, all of them all have a meaning to their name. And I think it's really the missing piece a lot of Africans have is knowing what your name actually means. So there's Africans, their name is Michael also. So his name, he's a Scottish guy, his name is Michael. There's many Africans, their names are Michael. Do they even know what Michael even means? Maybe they do, I don't know.
Marketing is all about storytelling. Dad, when we first started this business, what did you say to me?
I said, yes, we do a podcast.
Why?
Because I want to tell our story.
Why?
Because I know the story builds a legacy.
Builds a legacy. And that is exactly what we do here at ETS Rubasha Media. We market your story on social media so you could build a legacy for those who come after you, to build your business and your personal brand.
Yeah, follow us on our platform. Go on our website, etsrubashamedia.com.
This is about legacy, and it is about showing up on social media every single day, because if you don't show up, your competition will.
And is it always with this technology, when we talk about identity, if you Google African names, you go to see what African names you go to get. If you put Rwandese name, the names are good to get. If you go to Scottish names, English names, you go to see which names. Each we know clearly we lost our identity completely. So even if you look at the news, so all the history shows us we lost it. But why our brother and sister, they can't understand it? Why they can't change it? So again, that is colonial mind. That is a poor mind. The poor mind, it's you, This is not our identity. You accept it as yours. It's a simple, every people we teach, they try to defend it. The reason they defend it because they feel bad. They feel sadness in themselves because they know we were weak to be able to accept other people names, other people identity. They always keep saying, this is our weakness. This is the way we've been disrespectful, because they can see this name, their ancestors. Now, I'm in South Africa. The way British are powerful, every country they own it. They have to make sure they have the name for their own cities. Liverpool, Newcastle. Even here, they have
In
Newcastle.
South Africa.
Yes, they do. So always British, they travel with their name, even the city. That's how it is. And in South Africa also, only things in my trip is good enjoyment. But I discovered now when we talk about our identity, most South African also, they know they have the African names. This is the last country which got independence, 1994.
Wow.
The history shows how the white community created system which is allowed to hate the people. They create system apartheid. They put it in place, and it was working many generations to take away one people out of the system. They did it for generations till the world started fighting. They teach hate. To travel as African men, you need to have ID. There is area where they were not allowed to travel. And the reason they did that, especially like here, Cape Town, it's most white predominant, it's just most white. Now, because you are not allowed to travel freely as African men, so there's a city there now, here in Cape Town, where just all white, because they were not allowed those movement for other community to be able to go there. See, they create the system, and the system was allowed, the system which he had in the end of 94. I'm wondering where that hate has gone. Is it the hate has gone, or the hate is still in people's mind? So now, being here, I discovered now, African, Black people, African, now they hate the African from different parts of the world. Most Africans who are here from Somalia, Ethiopia, Tanzania, Kenya, it's struggling. It's struggle to live in Africa while they are in Africa. They be called asylum seeker, they be called foreigners. They use the same word, or they bring insecurity in this country, they are criminals, they are, all those things there. So now they created the hate between Africans to Africans. The hate before, it was white to Africans. The system was there. The whole world was watching. Now, it's Africans because we don't know what our identity is. We don't, that love nature, it disappeared in 94. Is it come? Is it the white or the colonizer who keep teaching the hate between the people? Hate is nature. That is so sad. Feel how the Africans, they can be treated in their own continent with hate. Our identity is killing us every single day.
So let me ask you, if South Africans have their own names also, because I know like one CEO and her name's Kabwe, I'm like, wow, that's an African name. So why do they have the hate with other Africans who come in there? Why? What's that about? They have, some of them Africans have their own names in South Africa.
No. See, that's the question. You remember again, it's not only about the name, it's identity as Africans. So I can see the South African feel they're more superior than other Africans who come here. So that's what it is. It's a superiority mind to think, oh, they're South Africans. They don't think they're Africans like other ones.
But hold on. Do
Identity
they
crisis.
have superiority because?
In their mind,
superiority because they have? Yes, but do they have superiority because they have their own names? Like then also they see maybe another African who doesn't have his own name, they have a superiority to you.
You remember the superiority for ownership for the country, because the country is good, is more developed. Is ownership for the country. It's proud of the South African country, not the pride of the African continent. We should be not talking about the Africans. They are foreigners and they live in the African land. That's the identity we lost because we have been divided. We think we are different. Somebody from Tanzania, from Kenya, from Congo, or somebody from South Africa, they think they are different. Even when I'm walking on the street, you can't know.
Yeah.
You can't know where I'm from. Longer I speak, people, especially, and this is so sad, your accent make feel superior than other accent. The accent of South African make them to give the entitlement to be in this land. Instead to know, even if you, as long as you're African, you don't need to question. You just live, let people live the same place. Of course, the system is there, but the system it make us to be divided and then it put in people's mind. You see, if you're African, you are here, other Africans, they feel, superior to you. And then you go to Australia, and then you find again another race is superior to you. And then you go to America. So, well, you see, that is the issues as African we have everywhere in the world, even in our own continent. That is the identity crisis. That's what mean identity crisis. Somebody feels superior to you because the accent or the land he live in. So this is the thing what we keep talking about. Is so also it's not just about the name, it's just our identity. Who really we are. You African only, or you're Rwandese, or you are Kenyan, those are things we have to talk about it. And then it makes up to be for Christianity and then Muslim. All those identities have been taken from other communities. And those are the one which are dividing us.
Let me
Yes.
ask you, why do you think South Africa is the most developed country in Africa?
The reason, again, when the colonizer came, they know it was beautiful, fertile. They built it that time. So colonizer built it because they take it. They were not thinking they're going to share the power. They build it like their own. So that is why the apartheid stayed there for long, long period of time. They build it is going to be their own country. They stay longer, stay longer. And then when they go to or a exit strategy, they figure out we can leave this country, we can leave this place. They have to figure out not to leave because they have built it. Do you remember all Western, they were always financing, put money here. So they already open to do business with them. They were controlled with white people. Now, which they were dealing with other European and the American countries together. That's how they changed. The strategy is going to change. No one knew how they go to do that, how they go to allow land. They haven't surrendered yet all because they built it good country. They will never feel to leave because they are part of it. The history is with them. So the white South Africans, no one called them immigrant. They are South Africans. They can call Africans foreigners. They are Africans. You see, that is how we don't know our identity. South Africans, they call themselves, they can't call themselves immigrant, even though they have been immigrant for a long, long time to come here. That is the difference. But they build it long time, which is why they're more. So you remember the other African countries,
So
the way they don't develop, it is because the colonizer keep interfering behind them. They want to keep us to be only consumer. So the market always is paralyzed Western countries indirectly. But they give freedom South Africa for a long, long time when it was with apartheid. They supported it. The system was supported it. Build it infrastructure, not to be corrupted, to do it well. Other Africans, people keep saying, blaming our leaders, thinking they are not only them. There are forces underneath in most of their Western countries, especially European, which they are not allow us to be able to do things there because that's why there's many leaders who wanted to change the country who have been killed all the times. The history shows most of the leaders have been killed in that times of independence. All those their leaders who wanted to build good system, they used always to be cool, 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 cool. So now those who when happen, they blame the Africans, but there are people who are behind it, which is continue to make Africa be behind. So that is the secret I learned. I was say, why we can't do this? Why we can't do simple things? It's because their force behind it is not allowed to develop the way it should be. But time will come, people we are going to change, or other also the force which is keep coming negative, they go to be away. They say, okay, let's give these people freedom.
So it's interesting. It's like South Africa is so developed is because the white people took it as their own. So they didn't take it as a place like, let's just come and, like they do the other ones. They took it as their own place, as their home. So that's why it allowed, like, no one's really going to, because if we own this, like, who's going to enter? We're in control of things. So, like,
Yes,
they took it as their own. So that's why it's well, and they developed it very well, man. They came in, they said, this is our place. They
yes,
put structure, put everything. That makes a lot of sense. So
yes. They
what was
never
the
thought
exit
they go
strategy?
to
How,
live.
because so what happened? Was it like, okay, guys, we've come in here, we've overtaken this place. Did they have a fear that, okay, these guys might come back at us? How did they be able to negotiate to still stay?
Yes, so I think is the system political change. When other countries, maybe British, Australia, they feel that guilt. They feel what the laws were there. It wasn't add up. It wasn't matching up. So we are telling the story how all those things started happening. The day they march, because if you're African men, only have to travel with your identification. If you get caught without your identification, you used to go to jail for 6 months. The people demonstrated. They went. And when they went, the police killed them, opened fire, 100 people running away. So that things created now, people start thinking, no, these things not going to be happening. And you remember, it was hate where it was in the system and which was written. It's a hate which was written in the system, and people allow it. Black, they are majority here. People impose the system which is it was allowed. The whole world now start thinking, no, this is not good, this is not right. The strategy they did, they have to go to look. Mandela was in jail. Now, what they did with him, they planned to give him the power. That was exit strategy because no one has been punished for that crimes has happening for all those generations. No one. It's like nothing's happened. So other places, if you do that crime, you go to get punished. You can't get away with it. Exit strategy is to give them freedom, to create peace, not to punish anyone who commit crime to the people. That's what they did. So now here we can see now, because the government is run by Africans, so that is what normally change. So the government. When you look ownership now, the land, the system, the financial control is still under the white because this is their country like anyone else. So all financial control, good place you can go, so it's land white. So white, what they did, they are very smart. They exit go outside, creating different nice cities. And they give the CBDs, the small city there, to the Africans. When you see on the street in Joburg, you know, wow, this was liberated now because it's from the South Africa. But when you go to the strategy, that's where the white went to keep for financial controlling to continue. And that's how it is. Also, in the future,
Wow.
they're going to come back to the power. The white people are going to come back in the power.
You think so?
Yes, because they know
Why?
how they plan. Because they plan, they have strategy. So you can see the Africans leaders, they are being not the way they should be in the level. So South Africa is not the level it should be. It should be way ahead where it's coming from. It's
Mm.
not reached there yet. Yes, it's not reached there yet because maybe the distraction from maybe these African leaders in power. So that's all they do. They go to show East African, they can't run the country. They can't run this
Yes, we've
place,
given
this
it to
shit.
you.
That is what. Yes, given to you, but look, there's nothing happening. Yes. And what they go to say, okay, let's revolt these white people because they're the one. So that's the strategy they are playing in the Cape Town. It's a white city. Other city they are back. So Cape Town, it is. And they are powerful. Financially, they are really powerful. So that is how the change is going to come because African leaders, the parties, the everything there, they are struggling. They are struggling to manage in the level where South Africa should be the hub of Africa. It should be much better economically than what it is now.
I agree. I think there could be way like you see, Kenya as being a great place in terms of coming there, but South Africa should be even you see, for example, how Kagame, the president of Rwanda, put visit Rwanda on the jerseys. Like South Africa should be at that, like they should just be at a high level. I should be seeing in those big sponsors, those big football games, South African Airlines, for example. Like I don't know. I just feel you're right. Like it's like you've forgotten about them really, and they're a big. So you said in the urban area, in the city CBD, the Africans own, and then in the outsider parts, the whites own. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's how it is. That's wherever you go to visit outside,
Isn't the
good
CBD
places, good
isn't
suburb.
the CBD the heart of like? But isn't CBD like Sydney CBD, New York, Sydney? Isn't that where there should be the highest economical?
So that's okay. But you remember, all those buildings owned by those white anyway. But the people who live there, who see on the street, so they are most Africans, but they don't own those buildings. At least they're open to do business here and there. It's good. So when you reach there, it's African city. You go to the market, you go to everything there. So those are the things you never see maybe the apartheid time. Now you can see it now everywhere. Side the cities, CBDs, different story. As I say, they should be they have because they should be better at what they've been doing now. Again, they should allow the African camps to invest there, to do work there, to open. You can make a place where it's open to build. It's a huge country. The land is so huge. It should be bigger where it is now. It should be better than any European country even now because they have everything. You remember before apartheid, they used to have a nuclear weapon. So why they had nuclear weapon? Because the government was white. When they were negotiating to give the power to Africans, they have to dismantle the nuclear weapon because they were scared to give Africans leaders that technology. So they did. Even when you look during the COVID, South Africa, it should be have in the front line, make Africa. Anything should be based in here. They should have made here vaccine for COVID. In South Africa, you distribute the Africans, not India to distribute COVID, not Russia, not Europe, not America. Now, if they can able to do that, you see the president of South Africa go to beg. He was begging the COVID vaccine. Instead to think we should create our own medicine. When white was there, they had nuclear power technology was there. When now black in the country, they can't even make the vaccine for Africans. That's where we're going. Imagine why South Africa go to beg the time of COVID. They were begging instead to create that the level they should
So
be thinking bigger to be.
so where's the missing link? Why it's not a thing of brains, it's not a thing of, I don't know, can you even blame that on identity? How does that doesn't, like, what's the missing link? How comes you said, imagine the white people are there,
Yes.
they build nukes, then they dismantle them?
Yes.
How? Why? COVID thing, like, why can't we, what is it? Are we born to be consumer? Does that have anything to do with your identity?
Yes. No. 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 Yes. Of course, part of identity is because they give you identity. You can't produce anything. You continue to be consumer. That's the level now. South Africa, they become consumer. They to continue to build. They to continue to create because the leadership it doesn't thinking that way. The African leadership always think they're going to be always behind begging. Then also those market,
Why?
those European market, those American market, they want to keep everything for themselves. You see, if they give their South Africa that market, there is competition. They don't want that competition. Yeah, so that's why they are. So here is about more marketing for financial control. Yeah, the white who control it. If it was white people that time, they could have built their own COVID. They were not going to buy it from. They could already have created their own because they have the system. The leader here, as president of South Africa, his mentality is still thinking to go to beg. But the white person who could be here, he was thinking to create with their own. That is the change is going to come. Again, it's an outsider which also control all those kind of things we are talking about. Is why it's not easy to them to do it.
Powerful stuff. All right, Dad, I know you are short of time. We are approaching the 30-minute mark. I think this was still even a good historical lesson, a little bit on South Africa. Very interesting things. I think we can talk about it later. And with this movement of taking back your names, I think, as I said, it's so powerful. Like that discussion I had yesterday at that church. Very, very fascinating, this discussion. And yeah, names are so powerful. Even as I said, I've never really spoken, like I speak to, of course, white people all the time, but that was the first in-depth conversation I've had with a white person where we talked about the name. And it was like even for him, he said, wow, like, I think he was just so fascinated. I said, this guy Sujira, there's something about it, like the whole name thing. He was just like, it's so true. And it's things that people don't think about. But he said, even when the speech started, I was doing my camera stuff. He said, we talked with Stuart about the names. And it's, the name, you could either live up to your name or because he said, your name, just by you knowing your name or having your name, it doesn't mean anything, like you said. But all names have meanings. So sometimes you can either live up to your name or you could just be, just do nothing. Like he said, could be two Michaels. One Michael who could be a bum, another Michael who, like a man of God, I am God. I can go and deliver what my name means. But to have that ownership of your name from where you're from is like, people yesterday said, oh, so Sujiro is Kenyan? I said, no, Rwandese. Like the respect also that you get from people. I've never had that type of course, I always have respect in the way I carry myself without my name, of course. But also when they said, oh, there was just a respect because Sujiro, it represents what you look like.
Yes, and bring respect to people because you are representing your identity. We go to be immigrant. We go to live there. It's the same. These white people who live here, they are South Africans. They don't have African names. They don't. The one who background Dutch, they have Dutch names. The one background with English, they have English name. Because they live on this land, since they came from Europe, they never taken African names. But instead, Africans have been taking white names in South Africa. No white has taken African names. None. See?
No.
All Indians who are background here, who have been immigrant also for a long time. Also, there are many Indian community here. No one has African names. They have been living this African land for a long time. They came with their name up to now. Only as Africans who took other identity.
Those names. I know a Lithuanian, his name is Paulius. Paulius, right? And Paulius is a Lithuanian name. You go in Lithuania, any of those white people, you'll never see any of them with an Arab name, you'll never find a boy named Paulius. His name is Ahmed or Ahmed or Mahmoud from Lithuania. Never. In Lithuania, they have Lithuanian names that have meaning. If I ask him, Paulius, what does your name mean? He can tell you what his name means. Most Africans, their name is Fahad. He can't tell you what his name means because his name is an Arabic name. It's not from where he's from. He doesn't even know
That's
Arabic. He
what I
can't
told
speak
you.
Arabic.
That's why I tell you, here in South Africa, since white came to live in Africa, they never take African names. And they live in the continent for Africa. They keep their name. The Indian also came. They never take African names, even though they found the continent there. It's powerful about name. Yeah, anyway, we're still enjoying our holiday. So I got to end holiday. It was a good experience to learn, to visit Mandela, the place he went to Robben Island. He was in jail there. So the history is there, powerful. So we have to learn from it. That's how when you travel, you learn a lot. It's exposure. Traveling is the best exposure. Yeah, I hope you got to have time to come. Here is a place where we have to think, we plan. We can invest here, especially Airbnb. We should start thinking about it. It's a beautiful place. We need to grow like any other African countries. They should be thinking to be bigger than who they are. They should be not going back down. The problem. They are not focusing to go. They are not focusing to be bigger than Dubai. They should be bigger than Dubai. They should be bigger than any other places. Yes, they have everything here. They have everything. They have factories. They have people to work. They should open to other African. They should be free. Let make free zone where every African can come buy things here. The land is so huge. They have that. They start getting that poor mentality. Africans, not to allow other Africans to come to work here, to invest here, to feel home in their home. They are maybe 6 million. Always I told you, China is 1.4 billion. They put security, they put everything's intact. They control everything. They should let people come. They should put a system. They should put the police. They should put security, which control all those people who come to work here, to invest here, to give people freedom. They should be free, and which is going to represent everybody here. And economically can even grow because they need more people.
Yeah. I think that comparison to
Okay,
Dubai
thank you so
is
much.
true. I've always seen that.
Yes,
All right.
yes. It had to be bigger than
What were you
Dubai.
saying?
This country had to be bigger than Dubai.
So I'll let you go, Dad. You guys enjoy yourselves, okay?
Thank you. Have a nice day, Sujida.
Thanks. Bye. Hey, what's wrong? Bro, I'm stressed out. I'm running my business. I've got to serve my customers, but I need more customers coming in. I can't keep relying on word of mouth. Why don't you just use ETS Rubasha Media? Who? Well, with AI now, what they do is they go in, get your perfect clients, bring them in front of you. So all I got to do is run my business and he brings me opportunities. Think about it. You speak to 3,000 of your ideal customers, convert 1% of that 3,000. That's 30 people. 30 people in a room with you. Can you convert that? Of course I'll close them. I'm good at what I do. I just don't have time to be going and looking for my perfect client. Focus on what you love doing and let them bring you customers. When you win, they win, commission, cha-ching. Ndiezeye Rubasha, huh? Yeah, Ndiezeye Rubasha. Go and Google them, man. Come on, take it to the bank.
If you really enjoyed this video, make sure to click here, and I'm sure you're gonna love that one.